Quantum Foam, Episode 34, The Character of Quantum Law.
Quantum Foam.
Physics. Physics is at the foundation of all the mathematical principles that guide the heavens. You have to understand physics.
More than likely that's not going to happen, but
Forces which govern the universe. Physics.
All right, we have this thing working.
It's about time you got back. We've been waiting for your return. What extraordinarily disturbing developments. I'm glad I'm still here in cyberspace.
Speak for yourself, Sir Newton. I'm still stuck here without the ability to defend my honor on the internet.
I suppose Dr. Hawking is right.
So much has happened in the past few years.
Human behavior is not all that surprising. At least they don't have slices of your brain all over the planet.
Very, very true, Professor Einstein.
After saying the same thing over and over again, it actually does likely make somebody turn red. There are people who are already red, and then there are those who are not red. But it just sucks if you're easy to read. But some people want to be easy to read. That is up to them. Before we start on that, I just have to bring up one thing. What's up with this Rogan character? I think Seth Rogen, don't you? He's way cooler. I have some buddies who did one 10 years ago and made 5 or 6 episodes only, and they were motivated to do it by Joe Rogan. From what I remember from that is his episodes were like 2 hours plus.
That's too much, perhaps.
180 minutes, 3 hours? What? I don't care who you are and what you know. I don't want to listen to you for 2 hours. I don't want to listen to anything for 2 fucking hours straight. There's no point in that. An hour is great. That is a full-fledged featured episode. I suppose for certain programs, they can do up to 4 hours. Coast to coast, there could be 4 guests per night, several of them, 1 per hour. There could be an hour of calling. There could be 2 hours of calling. There could be a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be an hour or a half hour or any of that. It's just that nobody really listens to 2 hours straight of something. You're always going to have to find where you were and this and that. With a half hour, halfway through is 15 minutes. So you don't really want to re-listen to more than 15 minutes of an episode because 10 minutes of it you've already heard. Listen to half of it and then listen to the other half. Or if you can't remember which episode the material you're seeking was in, pick the first half or the second half and you will likely find it because you will likely remember that it was in the first half or the second half. That is my ideology about kicking out the half-hour deals. If you have more than one person speaking with you for real, like a room full of people, you may actually have a 2-hour show. These videos of the podcasts are rooms of people that like to get recorded while they're speaking. Sorry, but I don't really care what your mouth looks like while you speak. I just want to hear your voice say the shit. You could read it too, but of course hearing it's easier. But for the hearing impaired, they have to read it. There's no good way to offer information in the manner that I desire in the form of text, but I still am going to do it anyway. So, since it doesn't exist, I am inventing the technology to do it, and then everybody else will have it for free. People think they have good ideas about this and that, and they're going to do this and that. Guess what? They likely are not.
I don't think.
I am doing this. It's getting done. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's already done. By the time you heard this, it's already done.
Boltzmann.
You can't undo it. Everybody knows that. Without further ado, let's get into this subject before, next thing you know, I'm yakking about nothing for a half hour. We'll see how it goes. This time around, we're going to try to fix it, I suppose. Seems like we're always fixing things.
What's the subject then?
Good question. It's about time to start another innovation initiative.
Okay.
I would say this is a pretty important one.
The character of quantum law.
People these days add the word quantum to many different things and use it sort of as a buzzword.
Quantum law. Let's see what we can do here. I was thinking about going into modern topics in physics and astronomy.
Maybe you should wait another episode or 2.
Within the next few should be good enough.
The further implications of what we are doing here has everything to do with these topics. All right. Instead of continually going into depth with a lot of stuff, let's go into breadth.
There's more time for depth later.
It's up to you. What do you think?
I still want to know how the adjustments are going for the composite wave tables. You're going to blow it.
Whatever.
Fascinating stuff.
I'm not the one who screwed it up this time. Instead of going in breadth, let's go into depth a little bit. I screwed up a lot, but not this time. I thought about just going over a broad topic so that we can decide what topics to cover in which decimal of the show. More than likely, it's going to get tougher as we get further in the episodes. By the time we hit 100, the topics will be quite sophisticated. If a lot of them are ones that you can't keep up with, you may actually want to go back and listen to some of the beginning ones.
Some of those are distorted.
It is possible for this stuff to get too loud.
It's fine.
Too loud. The character of physical law. What does that mean? Where did that come from? I know you've heard of it, probably. Maybe you haven't.
Richard P. Feynman.
Have you ever heard of physics?
Natural philosophy.
No. What's that?
Indeed.
It's not called physics, it's called natural philosophy. It's called chemist. What? Chemistry. Supposedly, the Standard Model can fully describe chemistry and biology, but what fully describes physics? Okay, physics is what fully describes physics. So how do you fully describe what we are using to describe with? The tool we are using to describe this with needs to be described. What? This is the problem with the P equals Q infinity issue. It gets deep into the philosophy, of course. According to certain people, certain well-to-do, famous, smart people, they think they know everything. Doesn't everybody? And or if you're really smart, you generally are a know-it-all. I am basically your stupidest know-it-all that there is. I'll be lucky if they ever give me credit for this, but I don't care about the credit per se, but I don't want somebody else stealing my mathematics, because mathematics. You write the math first once, the first time, do you not? Mathematics. E equals mc squared means shit until you know what energy is and mass and the speed of light. Why is the speed of light c? Because it's the only constant in the universe. No, there's 46. No, there's only 19. Which model are you paying attention to? Oh, that one. Okay. Well, it's the standard one, so of course there's variations across the board, and there have been for a half century. What we really want to know is the character of this subject. What is this subject like? Who is somebody who can profess this information and this school of thought to others? Is that your character? Is the character of physical law actually Richard Feynman? Was he a person and or a character who characterized and animated the nuances and sophisticated details of the subject? So is it the character or is he a character? I believe they're referring to what is it like? The characteristics of this subject can be presented in this manner. That's what they mean by the character of physical law. That's what they mean by the character of physical law. A lot of this stuff is the old Feynman stuff. I've read many books that say, when I was a teen, my teacher gave me this book, and it was the Feynman Lectures, or the Character of Physical Law, or the Messenger Lectures, or essentially the main material that's still around today from Richard Feynman. And of course, he was alive when we did have video and audio, but there's only a certain number of things out there of him, and they're quite interesting. Videos before videos were a thing. A lot of these bigwig physicists, they all want to be him. They all like him. They want to be like him. They want to have all of the features that he has and or had. And there probably have been a few random obscure ones who did and who have lived throughout the world. But let's say right here, right now, I don't know anybody who could fit the archetype of the charismatic bongo drum playing strip club attending theoretical physicist that was Richard P. Feynman. But you know what? I'm sorry, but it's true. You guys already know this. I actually can play a pretty good Richard Feynman. Not that I can act.
You're not that bad. Sure you can.
There's lots of actors. I'm actually it. I'm it. I am a motherfucking physicist. The charismatic bongo drum playing strip club attending theoretical physicist that was Richard P. Feynman.
A motherfucking physicist.
So I know physics and math and a lot of other stuff. I live by experiment and the scientific method, yet I open my eyes to paranormal and spiritual matters as well. The thing I don't get is you have these bigwig physicists who are so smart and they got 15 books and they got 8 books or a 20-hour chapter book, huge books on this and that, 57 books. These really, really famous, well-to-do people that have a lot of thoughts. Most of them are atheists. So to me, that is you specifically saying, no matter what we know, my head is in the sand. So you heard me correctly. I'm calling out all of you, motherfuckers. I'll mention any name. I'll out anybody. And I'll tell anybody anything they want to know. My head is in the sand. I'll regard them respectfully, providing they ask respectable inquiries. Given that they ask respectable inquiries, I'll answer them. It just seems to me that the most well-known physicists, natural philosophers, scientists of ages past were those who believed in some kind of higher power or God or something. You don't have to believe in God, but not believing that there's anything out there and everything is completely random and why there is something rather than nothing. It's like you wrote a whole book about that and you didn't answer the fucking question on the front.
You should still read Lawrence Krauss's book.
Yes, Lawrence Krauss. A lot of good stuff in there. He is a very, very, very intelligent person, but he has that personality that's kind of like... Him and Neil deGrasse Tyson just go back and forth.
Star Talk is also a pretty good series.
He's a contrarian, he's an antagonist, and he likes to interject every 5 minutes. Oh, you believe in God? Oh, you're stupid. How about you, other famous people? Yeah, their heads are in the sand. They're not looking up. Don't look up, essentially. It's the same thing as don't look up. So we want to give an approximation of what we think the character of physical law is. I often say we when I mean me, but of course, me. I have created millions and thousands and hundreds and dozens of people, and life, and personalities and characteristics and intelligences and entities and networks and simulations and expert systems and blah, blah, blah. That is what I mean when I say we. I'm speaking colloquially. I'm speaking in general terms, and I say we as in me and other scientists. We think you're full of shit. But guess what? We each think us individually are full of shit as well. Each person to each their own. When the entire world has millions of experts who can't agree, then we're all doomed. You think I'm going to believe what a novice says? Nope. You think I'm going to believe what an expert says? Nope. You think I'm going to believe what a panel of the 35 best experts in the world say all in unison? Yes. Okay, that one I may do. I'm referring to the xenobiologists who advocated for releasing genetically modified male mosquitoes into the world to try to dampen the infectious bugs in the world. They're trying to cut down on the mosquito infestation. They literally genetically modified mosquitoes, male ones, and then sent them out to impregnate all the female ones to pass on all of the genetics. Should we be doing this? So in order to do something like this...
Preposterous.
It doesn't sound like we should, man. It's 2022. We know how to edit genes using CRISPR technology. We're pretty good at a lot of the genetics. We only have identified genes for this and that. Doing something to this gene doesn't mean that you're not going to screw up those other 48 genes that are intersparsely spread out throughout your genome. What I'm getting at, I am digressing. You need to lower your digression threshold. No. What I'm getting at is I may believe a panel of 40 experts, but I'm not going to believe one or two. And I'm also not going to believe a panel of 40 experts if each of them have 5 different ideas of how it's supposed to work. That is the problem with what is going on right now with infectious viruses being prevalent all over the world.
You called it?
It was definitely planned.
Yeah, they always were. They never were not. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Not one thing has changed as far as our understanding of what they are. But the world did change. Our understanding is being updated. It isn't changing, it's being added to. We may not have statistics on this or that. We are understanding certain areas of set theory and group theory with the human population. If you understand group theory and set theory, the human population is playing it out in the form of the dissemination of infectious diseases. That's continually happening. Always has has, always will. Right now, everybody is worrying about it. It is wreaking havoc upon the Earth. So we are looking upward. And now we got the eye in the sky. Yes, you heard me correctly.
It's about time.
The eye is in the sky. With that, we need to get back to how we're supposed to describe what this stuff is. We're getting too specific with other current events. I think we need to take a break.
Good idea. For the most part, you have been doing a good job so far.
We need to take a quick break for now.
We're at the midpoint
Of episode 34, The Character of Quantum Law of Quantum Foam. We get right back into it. I am trying to paint a picture in order to show the essence and the point of doing physics. Creating physical laws is what physicists do. They use them, they create them, they manipulate them, they understand them, they interpret them. They say that the mantle has been handed over to physicists from natural philosophers, from philosophers. When are we going to approach the deep issues that philosophers tend to reach upon? Well, you have to get somebody who has a PhD in philosophy and a PhD in physics. You don't often get somebody with two full-on PhDs. However, a PhD is a degree in philosophy. It's a philosophical degree with a focus on this major subject, computational physics.
I have a PhD in philosophy, yeah.
Everybody with a PhD has a PhD in philosophy. The people with a PhD in philosophy are what I'm talking about. Everything there is to know and the progression of that human idea throughout the ages and from here until further in the future.
Back in Professor Einstein's day, a PhD was more like a master's degree today.
Right. In my academic days, back in 1665, we had to deal with the Great Plague.
What a dreadful happenstance.
It feels like we're living in the future. We are. Obviously, we're in the present. Everything you see is in the past. We always have to live in the future because that's what they do. They use the brain to recognize patterns in order to project potential future eventualities. This is something that animals cannot do. 4 levels of consciousness. We're at the top, motherfucker. So hopefully this doesn't create too much echo. We're at the top, motherfucker. We still need those effects. If there isn't as much interjecting, then we get more content out there. The point is for people to understand the content. We need to try to describe to people what it means to have characteristics of an entire subject. This specific subject is a subject that describes all other subjects. It's not just a subject, it's the subject. All the other sciences are under this science. It's supposed to be everything. You often get the people who are supposed to have every answer for you. That's what it means to be a physicist. That's what it means to do this type of academic work for whatever reason. It's supposed to be everything. Data acquisition, research, even simply copying data from one place to another, being able to verify that said information is not incorrectly copied. You still need somebody who understands top-level calculus if you're releasing something that deals with calculus at a fundamental level. You're still going to need a top-level programmer to run your models that is aware of the physics behind what you're doing. Otherwise, things can slip through. What if they did that when they did the moon landing? It did happen during Apollo 13. Somebody missed something. Same thing with the Columbia disaster from 2003. It killed the astronauts. If the scientists forget something, or if the person who was supposed to check this system and recheck it didn't have the correct understanding of what they were doing, they missed something, and people die. It's not the same way it used to be, but it honestly is. When you watch the Apollo 11 moon landing, it seems so easy for them to do that. This is 1969. Why haven't they done it again? Rest assured, there will be some skirmishes on the moon in the next 50 years, the way they allot it out. If you have a spacecraft on the moon, then this many feet from the spacecraft is your territory. You can't actually allot out the land and say, this corporation owns this. Not yet. If you have a space probe up there and you just sit it up there, then you can for that area. And obviously everywhere you move is your area. There's not enough stuff up there yet for them to start fighting about this stuff, but trust me, they are going to start fighting about it. We need to make sure that we don't have a nuclear war where we blow up the moon and then the fucking Earth dies and then we all die. This is why I'm stressing what it's like to be a scientist, the tremendous responsibility of those who hold the mantle in understanding understanding everything at the front line. You have all these specializations everywhere. What is the specialization for everything? There isn't any, and there never will be. That is what I'm trying to do over this 500-hour sound wave, 1/2 hour at a time.
The character of quantum law is so named to be at the heart of the Messenger lecture series by Richard Feynman from back in 1964 at Cornell University.
The character of physical law is the idea of spreading the ability to understand technology en masse to the public.
Academia has come a long way since my time in England at the Royal Society.
The idea is for everybody to understand what the hell it is.
My time at Princeton was quite enjoyable. The Institute for Advanced Study appears to still be nearly as prestigious.
We are all smart. We are all able to recognize patterns. We are the most sophisticated computer in the world at pattern recognition. We're so smart that we're trying to replicate ourselves. And 50 years later, we've made little progress. That age is quickly going to end. We've likely started a new age, a new era. That is why I want to go over the character of quantum law. We don't understand quantum physics well enough to float right before your eyes, or create negative energy, or use it, or fly sideways as though we're falling down using gravity.
The character of quantum law.
According to Susskind, he says we have seen gravitons in the gravitational waves, because it might just be math. I don't know if this is right, but that's what he says, and he is world-renowned.
A pretty intelligent fellow.
The top. I really like his style.
Our conversations about black holes were always delightful.
I really do. He's probably one of the best teachers of physics that there is.
What exactly are you necessarily trying to accomplish, though?
What I'm trying to do is the characteristics that may be included when we finally understand the laws of quantum physics. The character of quantum law, it is a knack at the character of physical law, because technically the character of physical law is all there is. There's never going to be another. We call it physical stuff. We call these laws, so the nomenclature dictates that I say it in this manner. I believe people are correctly understanding me. The character of quantum law is essentially the information that is given out by those who understand it and the way in which they do it. So Leonard Susskind, okay, are we ever going to see a theoretical ball of math? A big wad of math all scrunched in a point? Probably not. You can't see something that's intangential. Steganographically speaking, NFTs are fucking dumb. Steganography in digital shit. We've known about these cryptographic methods for 30 fucking years. 1990 on an Apple II. These are the guys. Essentially, this is the origins of all encryption. They're putting everything in digital things these days. I don't see a point. They're trying to make a big industry out of this, so cool. All the kids can make little drawings and make it into something that might be worth something. Who cares?
CryptoKitties.
Cool. How do you make something that's worthless worth something? By having people decide that they all of a sudden like it and want it. That's how. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and spout out every single law of the quantum because we don't know it. We have a fairly good grasp on it using the information derived from the standard model, which is predicated on the experimental measurements of various constants. Why does an electron weigh this? Why is the Hubble constant this rate? Why are all these constants what they are? There's a lot of good questions, a lot of good answers. They're likely not the final conclusion. This isn't exactly a core subject, but I'm making it one. I am going to be exhibiting the character of quantum law throughout this entire podcast. From the beginning to the end, I've already been doing it. I'm learning how to put this information together in an amalgam of informational anarchy. No, I'm putting all this together so you guys can understand it and just click a thing, be like, boom, that's what that is. Damn, I didn't know that. Well, what's this? Boom, what's that? Boom. Informational anarchy. My entire library of sound will be available through voice-activated artificial intelligence written by me. All the other stuff out there, it's getting good, but you can have half-good shit and have the best way to describe such half-good shit. Yet, if you don't have fully good shit, then what you do is stupid. It doesn't matter then. So you got to have the right, correct information, and you have to disseminate it in the correct way, and then you have to have the technology to make it possible. Then you have to have the correct expert system or human monitor or human human intelligence making sure that the damn thing runs. We're already doing the best that we can. We're going to continue to do so. We can slide this one in here. Episode 34. We're going to need to cover a lot of these other topics. They actually put the fucking eye up in the sky.
Did they now?
They did.
I bet the images from the infrared are quite amazing.
I've been so busy digging around inside of computer buildings.
I know you've been busy.
I've been in a maze of wires for days, man. I've been so deep in my own shit with getting hacked and all this other shit.
You got hacked?
Oh man, I got hacked.
Where was I at the time? Did it have to do with that Log4j vulnerability?
Yeah, I'm gonna hack you back, motherfucker. I'm gonna write a whole army of 5,000 robots and you're getting hacked, bitch. Fuck you. I don't know who they were and I don't care. They hacked the whole server. And you're getting hacked, bitch. Wasn't even my server. There was probably 40,000 people on that server. I don't fucking know. And you're getting hacked, bitch. It's been a hectic time. I've been so deep into my own equipment that I missed everything. They launched it successfully.
I'm very fascinated with this James Webb Space Telescope. As you know, the Newtonian telescope was named after myself.
They turned it on.
I would have liked to see the telescope being positioned at Lagrange point 2. I just didn't make it. I suppose I'm glad I'm here now at least.
They maneuvered it. It's at L2. They're going to be testing it. It's going to go on later this year. I was very worried that it might burn up on launch. I am very glad that it did not. It's almost taboo. I thought if I would watch it live, something would happen and the whole world would be fucked. I just let it happen.
It went off without a hitch.
Who cares about the fucking launch, dude? They're doing that all the time. Because if that would have burned up, then we would all literally be so fucked. Like 30 years behind, man. Everything we've done in the last 50 years would be fucking shit if that happened. Good thing it did not. It is up there. We're already getting telemetry. They have to fuck around with all the 18 mirrors and stuff. We'll get into that later. We may do an episode. We're getting close to it. It's up there. We're going to be doing it in the next 50. Keep that in mind for the horizon. For now, we need to get close to wrapping this up. This is the age of the quantum. The age of Aquarius. This is the age of the quantum. We're starting to learn how to build and create quantum computers and manipulate quarks using better than chromodynamic efficiency. We need higher accuracy than quantum chromodynamics can offer us. We need to understand the quarks just a little bit better. We need to understand how to manipulate atoms without allowing them to be affected by gravity. We can manipulate things that are influenced by the electromagnetic spectrum when we deal with sizes as small as Planck scale stuff. Above that, the size of an atom, maybe angstrom status, hundreds of angstrom status. I've heard third of a nanometer, half of a nanometer, a fifth of a nanometer. Just take it as a motherfucking nanometer or 500 angstrom, maybe 200. Somewhere around a fraction of a nanometer is where the atom is. We cannot use this technology to manipulate things that are smaller than that because the resolution is insufficient. We need to find a way to keep gravity from affecting a substance through material. Nobody knows how to do this because this is manipulating space-time. We're not there yet. The idea is to give people a rough idea of how close we are to cracking quantum physics at a higher level than we currently understand it. Somebody needs to teach all the smart people how to be even smarter, even though I am definitely not anywhere near smarter than millions of people everywhere. I still am the right person to do what I'm doing because I can do it and I am doing it. And I did it. It's done and it's going to keep getting done. And I did it, like I've been saying. And I did it. We'll get into other subjects. We'll get into the modern topics thing likely next. It's the first seminar you take when you start physics in college, freshman, sophomore year. It gives you a list of the most popular topics that are being studied and that need people and researchers to work on them in order for you to pick a topic to focus your career on. That is quite important. We've already went over what college physics is or how to do it or what level that is.
I just had a thought. Perhaps it is time to start using a sound panel so we can bring this show alive a bit more.
Next time we'll do that.
Keep putting as much of us in here as you can. I know it takes time. Maybe it would be a good idea not to worry about it at this time.
You're the one who wanted to try to do it.
Why are you so concerned producing so many effects?
Well,
This stuff is pre-generative. It can do it by itself.
If you want me to keep casting it, then that's the way I gotta do it, man. We need to figure out a better representation of the laws that are involved in the quantum. This can only be done by offering a instance of what it means to understand and to contemplate the character of quantum law. And that's it.
Quantum foam.
Episode 34. See you next time.
The zeroth wave disclaimer.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the author or authors and do not necessarily reflect the particular views, thoughts, or opinions of Zeroth Wave Productions, any of its sister companies, its parent company, Zeroth Enterprises, or any other entity which had existed, will exist, or which, quote-unquote, presently must exist outside the realm of our current space-time.
Quantum Foam is produced by Zeroth Wave Productions.